Oh, absolutely.
No.
Because they don't want to talk. They don't want to say anything. Because everything they say could be used in a 30-second commercial
for the
that brings down their career.
The politicians are worried that you're going to fuck them over.
That's right. They think that they're about to be ambushed,
Skewered.
tricked. That's right.
So a scientist will just talk about their craft. And
because there's a confidence, there's a security when they do. Unless it is, once again, somebody that is coming on that has been disingenuous about the type of research that they're doing. Right. But typically the people that we have on are the non-scientist carnival barkers that have been used to headline a scientific issue.
Right.
And that's a very different animal
in
again.
In a political way.
That's exactly right.
Right, exactly.
And it all breaks down along political lines. And then once again, you're dealing with, politicians are the most stage managed. You think that actors have publicists and have caution about their public image. Politicians are by far.
So why did they even come on your show at all?
Because they are also salesmen. Here's the problem with them. They have a product, and they must sell it to a constituency because for them to keep their jobs.
And there's a constituency that you're associated with that they want access to. So that means
they're the ones doing demographic research, not us.
So, Charles, let me in our field, because you're my fellow astrophysicist.
Yes, and proud of it.
We hardly ever have, and Pluto aside, we hardly ever have any political, cultural, social controversy in our trade.
Well, then again, also, did anyone make a buck off of Pluto not being demoted?
No, well, I published a book on it, but anytime I gave a talk, I donated those monies to charity.
Precisely.
Right.
We are human too. Scientists, astronomers, we care about our egos and our profits and so forth. But in the end, what we do, what we've chosen to do for our careers may insulate us a little bit because it's just as John says, we're trying to find out what's next door to God's house. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah. So are there any other fields you think are more susceptible than we are? Because I think we're pretty, like you said, we're pretty insulated from this.
Yeah.
But there's like physics or biology or pharmaceuticals, this sort of thing.
Yeah. Medicine, I think, has a real issue, health issues that we're talking about. Sometimes if there's like a car that you want to sell, maybe the engineer will say, well, this car is better than that car. I don't know. But fortunately, I feel pretty safe about that. I don't know if Leanne has any ideas.
Leanne, which scientists do you trust the least?
Which scientists?
Yeah, which ones do you think are most susceptible to special interest groups?
The ones who are trying to sell me chewing gum, actually. Those 4 out of 5 guys, I don't know. It seems a little shady to me. But now, are you saying, Neil, just to backtrack for a quick second, you couldn't be bought on the Pluto thing? Is that what you're saying?
No! Oh, my gosh. Oh, no. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jon Stewart a little bit more and find out about the role of technology in what drives society and what role scientists and engineers play in it.
Unlocking the secrets of your world and everything orbiting around it. This is Startalk. Startalk.
You are back on Startalk Radio. You can find us on the net at startalkradio.net. We also tweet at Startalk Radio. You guessed it. I'm your host, Neil deGrasse Tyson. With me is my friend and colleague, Charles Liu, astrophysicist.
Hi, Neil.
Hey, Charles. As well as comedian Leanne Lord.
Hey, Neil.
Do you go by comedian or comedian?
Either one is fine. Comedian, I have no feminist issues.
No issues there, because some people have issues, and I don't want to have.
Dude, as long as the check clears, I am all good.
So we've got in this edition of Startalk Radio, we've got Jon Stewart as a sort of centerpiece to the subject of the politics of science as well as political science, and how does politics play out in the conveyance of science on these talk shows or in science in society and in Washington and anywhere else. And so just before the break, Leanne, I asked you, were there any scientists who you trusted the least, that you were most skeptical about, wondering whether they're bought by somebody? Is anybody? You said the 4 out of 5.
Yeah. I was joking about that, but I do think your esteemed colleague here hit it on the head. I'm a little skeptical of the medicine guys.
The medicine guys.
Yeah, because it seems like, for the right amount of money, everybody can line up their scientists and make them say what they want. They make the data say whatever favors their bottom line.
So you're saying scientists can be bought?
Maybe not you guys.
Okay, of course not
Maybe
us.
the gentlemen in the room have the highest integrity. Everybody else, up for grabs.
We got Jon Stewart to talk about inventions. So not only just pure science, but inventions that change our lives. Let's see where that takes us.
Well, the problem with technology has always been that the moment it becomes a breakthrough, now the clock ticks down to its obsolescence.
Yeah,
because the unfortunate part is not the science, but whatever it is within ourselves that allows you to become impatient and gratuitously unforgiving of the science. You and I both know plane travel is a miraculous scientific,
completely miraculous,
physical, to reverse the power of gravity and then to harness it, to control it to the point where you actually need to use it to get to, let's say, Toledo. That is a remarkable feat. And yet, what do you see at airports? Nothing but frustration. Where is this plane?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe God is still lifting it in his hand 30,000 feet above the world?
I think about this all the time. Not the God part, but the
Right.
fact that
No, I understand.
I'm there 30,000 feet in the air.
That's right.
Going 500 miles an hour with internet. And
It's unbelievable.
And there are people who get off the plane and complain they didn't get a pillow.
Complain that, the soda was warm. I didn't get, they didn't have any ice.
Okay, you don't want to take technology for granted. That's a beautiful thing.
I don't ever want to take technology for granted, and yet look at the way, oh my God, it's been 15 seconds. Where's my baked potato? Back in the day, you had to literally build a fire pit and do that. We take it for granted on a consistent level. Now, the flip side of that, on the science end, is they will dive into things with curiosity and fervor without necessarily know where they're going either.
Right.
So
Just whatever comes out of the shop.
That's right. They can drive us into a tree as well.
Whatever comes out of the technological oven.
Right.
There it is.
It's one of those things like, hey, let's try the plane. That could work. But,
they were half baked.
Oh, geez, that one just went directly into the ground. I guess we'll have to apologize to Jimmy's family. That's a rough one. So you got the flip side of both things. Yin and yang. That's my thing.
All right. Here we go.
It's the balance of the universe, Neil, that we're talking about here on your new show, Balance of the Universe with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That could be a segment of the radio program.
It should be a segment of the radio program.
The balance of the cosmos.
The balance of the cosmos. You know what you should talk about? The positive nature that science has improved our lives, and then the moral compass that must be used judiciously.
Ooh.
You a moral compass guy?
I try to always behave in a way where a moral compass is built into the action itself. That implies that you're doing stuff. Oh, I got to check my compass to see if what I'm about to do is bad. Well, that meant it's probably bad if you thought you had to then check it.
That's exactly right. And yet you have these moral compass issues where pushing forward allows for good to come of it. IVF, great
It's
example.
how you push it.
That's exactly right, how you push it. Now, no one's suggesting they make monkey-pig hybrids, but IVF.
That's why I'm kind of
some
insulated from it. Maybe I have the luxury of speaking prophetically about it.
Right.
But in fact, when I study the galaxy or the universe, there's no, unless I say, here, grab this antimatter, there'd be a moral issue regarding that. But otherwise, the patient doesn't die no matter what.
Now, do you have any issue with creating antimatter?
No, I'll do that anytime. Oh, yeah.
Anytime, anywhere?
Any place.
That's the kind of thing. If I ever come in and I catch my kid creating antimatter, hey,
you're grounded.
I told you about this.
So, Charles, did you create antimatter as a kid?
I tried.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, but it didn't blow up the way I expected it to.
Yeah,
But the whole moral compass thing that John brings up is very, very true. But I would add an additional dimension. That is that science literally helps define the moral compass of our world. In the 60s, the Pope actually quoted the scientific discovery of the Big Bang as proof that God exists. And then, of course, John mentioned IVF, in vitro fertilization, test tube babies. Reproductive scientists can actually tell before implantation which embryos are boys, are girls, which ones have diseases, which ones are healthy.
So the scientific frontier informs the dialogue about moral compass.
Absolutely.
But that's different from saying that it can decide the moral compass.
Right. So other people who don't understand science and try to say, well, scientists have to listen to us because they don't know what they're doing in terms of morality, they actually don't realize how important the science informs their vision of morality itself.
So there's not only the capacity of scientists to inform morality, there's the obligation of those who claim lordship over the moral compass of the country to be scientifically literate.
Unquestionably.
Leanne?
Unquestionably.
You're very agreeable, man.
I am. But don't you guys think that in terms of the moral compass in science, that science pushes that envelope constantly. Like, it's okay, we've got a new invention where everybody gets upset, and then they're back, and we're good now.
The monkey-pig
and then
hybrid.
Science is out there again.
The monkey-pig hybrid, right, and then the pig-human hybrid, right. That's you give a scientist a cookie, he'll want. How does that story go?
Yeah, syrup, pancakes,
Yeah.
all that.
I mean, does there ever come a point that, just because we can doesn't mean we should? Does that ever occur to you guys? You're never just happy, like, yeah, we're good. We have 3G on our phones. We're fine. No, now we're 4G because of you guys.
It's true.
The people caught in 3GS, I think, was that phone. But so I kept going with Jon Stewart. I mean, let's see. We kept talking about technology. Apparently he's extremely opinionated about it. Let's see what he tells us next.
Why is it that we have not been able to overcome the bounds of the combustion engine? That the Industrial Revolution starts.
It's one of the great embarrassing aspects of modern technology.
Right.
We're still using batteries.
Right.
We're still using combustion engines.
Thomas Edison could come down here and recognize all the power sources that we are using. He should not be able to. What has happened that we are still just basically burning carbon?
We're basically burning carbon. That's right. That we pull out of the ground.
Right.
And we still run away from energy sources that would be much better to tap.
But why?
A volcano erupts. You know how much energy is in a volcano? Run! The hurricane comes? Run!
Right. We don't utilize it.
Run! Yeah, we're victims of nature.
So, yeah, I don't want to be the one who runs. I want to be the one who figures out how to tap the volcano.
Economics has a lot to do with it, Neil. Obviously, economics and psychology, if there are people who can make billions and billions of dollars forcing us to buy internal combustion engines, they're going to try very hard to make sure we don't develop new technologies.
But if I remove the oil, because there's none left, then
you go to war. And
no, if there's none left, there's nothing to go to war over.
Right.
Then we can fight over sunlight.
There you go.
How's that